The things that UK landlords have used my eyes to see
I
in
know.
this country.
We tried even the first 2 years of being in the UK, we tried, but we weren't successful because of some of the information that we lacked. And that is why videos like this is actually life saving to so
Mm.
many people. Someone like me, which have had this type of video 5 years ago. The first thing she's like, "Oh, you're on a visa. No, 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 no. You need 25%.
Wow.
You need to pay 25%." And I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to pay 25%. If I even have 25%, I'm not going to give you. But one thing I've learned in this process is that you may be too broke for your taste. The fact that we're too broke for our taste, I would have come down a little bit. If we had come down a little bit, we would have been homeowners earlier.
Have you ever had this question in your mind? Should I buy a old build or a new build house? In today's video, I have a special guest in the house who will be sharing with us processes, the advantages and the challenges of buying an old build house in the United Kingdom. So if this is what you are interested in, please make sure to stick around, like this video, leave me comments below and share this video. For those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Victoria and I'm so glad to have you here. You're highly welcome. So, it is time to introduce our guest for the day. Hi, Gloria. Hello. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hello, Victoria's followers or fans or subscribers. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Gloria, and I have a YouTube channel, a Facebook, Instagram account, and a TikTok account. So I'm so glad to be here today.
You're highly welcome. Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. We truly, truly appreciate you. Let me start by saying congratulations on the purchase of your new home. So, if you can quickly share with us what prompted you to actually get an old build as opposed to a new build.
Yes, I know it is very common to see people share videos about new builds, and when you're trying to get information about buying an old property, it's a bit scarce. So going for an old build was a bit of a challenge as well for me because I had to research and I was trying to research and research, but I couldn't find much information. But one of the reasons why I ended up going for an old build is just after my research, I went to view new properties. I saw new properties. I saw the prices. In fact, I had developers accounts that we've already started. So I weighed my both options. I weighed the options of buying an old build or buying a new build, and I actually ended up deciding to go for an old build for loads of reasons. One of which is the affordability. As much as what we're allowed, because I bought with my husband, what we're allowed to borrow for mortgage was enough to buy, let's say, a 3 to 4 bedroom house, new built. Looking at the costs, the difference was like about almost 100,000 if we had gone for the same number of bedrooms and for an old build. So we were not ready to invest that much amount of money. Where I live, actually, I'm in Scotland. We're not ready to invest that amount of money on our first property in the UK, being that we know definitely that's not going to be our permanent home. It is our first home where we're going to be residing for now, but it is not a house we intend to live for the rest of our life. You see what I mean? So we're trying to get a property where, in case we decide to maybe rent it out or resell, we're going to be able to have the value for our money back. If we're trying to resell, we're able to get, if we've worked a little bit on the property, we're able to get more money than we've even spent buying the property. We're looking at locations as well because we've got 3 children. So it was extremely important that wherever we're going to buy is going to be located very close to where we already lived when we're renting. So we don't have to change the children's schools, their activities, the swimming, the church, everything stayed the same. The only thing that changed for us was just the house. So the home we are currently is just like 5 minutes away from our where we used to rent, because if it were to be new builds, the ones we saw, we had to move town. And although it was closer to my workplace because it was in the same town where I worked, it was more difficult for the children because I wanted them to continue to attend the schools that they were attending. So there were so many other reasons why we decided to settle for an old build, because it is in an established environment. It is close to the house we already lived in. We already know about the safety, the shops. It's just like buying your next door neighbor's house. You know what I mean? So that was the most I will say, important reasons why we went for an old build over new builds.
Awesome, awesome. Those are really, really valid points. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, how is it? How is living in your new house? How is it like? What's the experience there?
Generally, yeah, generally, whatever is yours is yours. Because there was one annoying practice that the last landlord was doing, which I don't blame him. I'll do the same.
Tell
Is that
me about it.
he comes to inspect our property, which I pay rent for every 4 months. So every 4 months, he's gonna email me and my husband to say, "Look, I need access to this property," and he'll go into the rooms, to the kitchen, to the toilet. He's gonna go search everywhere. I don't know what he's looking for, but he will just keep going about trying to find. I don't know what he was looking for, which he never found. So that was one annoying thing. So for me to now have my own property, where, oh my god, like it's just
Do as you
relieving.
like.
As in, if I like, because I remember when we've been renting for years. Our children, my last daughter is just going to be 6 next month. And you can imagine growing up with children, they can decide that the wall is going to be their drawing board. What will you do? You cry yourself? No. So you're actually scared. You're shouting, no, 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 don't touch the wall. No, no, no. You're not becoming the evil mother. So have your own house. I'm not saying it's good to destroy houses or paint on board. Having that peace of mind that if they do anything, you can paint over it. And the fact that what we're paying for house rent is the same. It was even more expensive than I'm paying for my own property just now. It's just relieving to know that the next 20 whatever years this property is mine. I mean, just tell me about it. It's just so fun. It's not like to show off or anything, but it just gives you this peace of mind to know that it is mine, and
Awesome.
it is mine,
Awesome.
and it is
Great.
mine.
Yeah. I would say it's the same for me, really, because
Yeah,
the things that UK landlords have used my eyes to see
I
in
know.
this country.
I
Yeah,
know.
there's a kind of joy, a kind of freedom that comes with having your own house. Yeah, and it's such a good feeling. Thank you so much for that. And with regards to buying an old build, so I know a lot of people will actually have been thinking, oh, do I buy a new build or do I buy an old build? And you've really done justice with the reasons why you bought an old build at the beginning of this video. However, for somebody who is still thinking about it and weighing their options, can you just share with us what you wish you knew earlier about buying a house in the UK, especially as an immigrant, and also what you wish you knew earlier about buying an old build in the UK?
Yeah, so what I wish I knew earlier, because personally speaking, I'd wish I'd bought my house like the first year I moved into this country, because the money I spent, I was calculating it over the years, I wish I can get them back. But I tried. We tried even the first 2 years of being in the UK, we tried, but we weren't successful because of some of the information that we lacked. And that is why videos like this is actually life saving to so
Mm.
many people. Someone like me wish I've had this type of video 5 years ago. Because when we got into this country, the first lender we approached was my bank. My bank has only one lender, which was attached to them. So we were at the stage of, I had a case manager who was handling my case. I've gone to view houses, I fell in love with the house. In fact, I've made an offer because I had a agreement in principle, which was a soft one online. We made an offer for that particular property. Funny enough, it is located around where we currently live. That was the reason we actually moved to where we this area of Scotland that we moved to. She said like we're almost ready, so it was time to have made an offer. They took the property off the market. It was time for us to now make the final, when they will now go and do the proper application and all that. Unfortunately for us, the lady went on holiday. She went on holiday, and then I was handed off over to another case manager. Then the first thing she's like, "Oh, you're on a visa." No, 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 no. You need 25%.
Wow.
You need to pay 25%. Scotland is a bit backward, and when it comes to all these things, it's way easier. I used to say in England, Scotland, they don't know. It's just what is in the book they always follow. And she's like, no, you need to pay 25%. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to pay 25%. If I even have 25%, I'm not going to give you. So I got angry and I just got angry and left the process. If I had known earlier that I would have gone to other lenders that are independent lenders that has
Mm.
like 100 lenders under them. Those, what do you call them? They have
Yeah.
like independent mortgage advisors. They will advise you because they have like hundreds. If this bank is not accepting, another
Yeah.
lender will be accepting. So those
Yeah.
was one those was that was one biggest that was the biggest lesson I wish I had known when we started this process. So it cost us years of not knowing what we're actually doing. Another thing that I wish I had known earlier would have been that you don't have to go for you don't have to go for the highest, let's say my taste. If you ask me what I really want, I want a house that look like a Canadian or a US house, a
So
five
sweet.
bedroom, 3 bathrooms, front and back garden with nice view. But one thing I've learned in this process is that your tastes, you may be too broke for your tastes. The fact that we're too broke for our tastes, I will have come down a little bit. If we had come down a little bit, we would have been homeowners earlier. But
Mm.
because the standard that I wanted, I was going really high and it was taking longer and longer and longer. So those are some of the lessons I wish I had learned.
Yeah, you know that part where you said we some of us are so broke for our taste. That spoke to me. It spoke to my core. Because really, if it were to be about tastes, the houses that I was hiring,
Mm,
they were way above my
yeah.
league. Like way, way, way above. And I used to tell people that with buying houses in the UK, I feel like you cannot find the perfect one that you really want if you are to say, oh, if you are to consider only your taste. You won't find it though, because from all the viewings that I have done, is either this one there's something missing, or is either this one the kitchen and bathroom they are too close together. There will always be something that you wish you changed in that house before buying it. And when you now see the one that kind of fits into that taste that you have, you check the price and you be like, what? What? Oh my God.
Mm,
So another question that I said I wanted to ask was what you wish you knew earlier about buying old builds. And
yeah.
probably let's link that to some of the challenges you might have, or if there is none, just feel free to share with us.
Yeah. Before I go into the next question, the other something I forgot to mention, which I've not even mentioned on my page, is the fact that if you're going to buy a property, try to be consistent with whatever lifestyle you already have. For instance, if you're on a job, don't change your job. When you're trying to buy a property, it's not the right time for you to be changing your job. You're not going to change your job this month and expect a lender to give you a property the next month, because that also affected us. So after the first shakara that I did, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. Just forget you on your house, shop it. Then when I was ready the next year, I'd already moved to this area that we are currently. And they're like, oh, you're just in this job for how many months now? It is no longer, you have to have worked for so at least 3, 6 months. So another thing is, at that time, my husband decided to have his own company. So you don't want to be changing things. You don't want to be changing drastic changes like changing your house. So because they want to see the consistency in your income. They want to see that you're on this job and this job is not going to lay you off in the next 3 minutes. The next 3 months, if we decide to give you 150,000 out of our own risk. So you want to continue your consistency and asking about things. Is it things like I regret or wish I'd known before buying an old build?
Yeah, and challenges.
The challenges faced with buying an old build, I would say so far, maybe it's too early. Haven't had any challenges apart from the challenge it will be for every other person who has bought a property. The fact that, let's say, your boiler stops working and you can just call your landlord and be like, landlord, do you know my boiler is broken and I need it fixed within 24 hours. He's gonna fix it. Now it is the fact that you are the landlord, you have to fix things yourself. And I think we've been kind of lucky that the property that we have currently, that is why your what do you call them? Those ones that go in to make sure that everything is properly in places where they should be, they're very important. Okay. I mean, we've been lucky so far, so good. Touch wood. We've not had to fix anything in the property. And although we've spent loads, personally, I've spent loads of money trying to make the house to my taste, it is the outside. For instance, I've built a home office which is not compulsory. But one thing that I would say we will have to maybe spend on will have been the fence and the floor in the front garden. Apart from that, inside we've not had to fix anything. It is very important that the property you're going for, especially if you're a first-time buyer, you don't have the luxury to waste money. Make sure the property, even if it's not 100% your taste, or make sure it is in good order. If you have money to spend, like to fixing things, that's okay. But if you don't, make sure that your property that you're getting is not in a state that you actually end up regretting buying that property. So currently, I've actually not regretted because like I said, I know the neighborhood. I'm close to my previous house. Everything has stayed the same as it should. Well, I've not had any regrets yet. Really, I've not had any regrets so far.
Right. Thank you so much for that. That is very,
Yes.
very explanatory. With the home office thing you talked about, was it like an extension? Did you have to ask the council for permission, or how did it work? Your home office, building your home office. Can you share a
Oh,
little bit about
right,
it?
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. No, I didn't have to ask for any building permission just because there's a standard. If your whatever you're building is not more than a particular centimeter, it may be different for England. So let me just stay safe. If it's not higher than a particular meters and it is not taking more than 50% of the garden, you're able to construct that building without needing any permission. So I went for my because I have like my front garden is like double the size of my back garden. So I decided to put my home office in my front garden because it is bigger. There will be more room to do whatever I want to do, and as long as it's not more than 50% of the whole garden space and is not higher than my building, I did not need any permission. So the current home office, my size is 12 by 8, and it's worked for me. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I know that's something I was considering too at the point. I knew I asked you, I sent a message to you to ask you, do you have other
Ah.
videos about that? We'll
Oh, okay.
go
Yeah,
more
yeah.
deeper. All right. Thank you so much for that. Now, to cap it all, what advice would you give to somebody who is looking to get an old build and is unsure or is just thinking about it, maybe early stages? And yeah, what advice will you give?
My advice to anyone who is deciding to go for an old build is just follow your heart, follow your pockets, and make sure it's functional for you. I know it's very easy, even so many people are actually ashamed to come and say, I bought an old build just because it's not the trend. You do whatever pleases you. If you want to go for an old or new build, just do what pleases you. But I would say, if you think old build is for you, go for it. But please do your research, be very careful, don't just rush, and it's going to be a long process because you see that old build, thousands of people, let me not say I'm exaggerating, hundreds of other people want that particular property that you want. So it's emotional roller coaster because you must have fallen in love with the one property and somebody else is also in love with that property. You're not going to get it even if you bid higher. I've said it somewhere in my video. I said there was a property we saw, a 6 bedroom double rooms house, and with a three bath and toilet. We bidded over 10,000 over the asking price, over the market value, and we didn't get that property. It was heartbreaking. I cried, I fasted, I wept, I cried, but we didn't get it. So you're going to have loads of ups and downs because you will have fallen in love with that property. You've seen yourself in that property, and then somebody who else loves that property because it is very difficult to find old builds because like I said, most old builds, the building are constructed with bricks. They are stronger, or the location may make it more competitive, and because the price is sometimes more cheaper compared to a new build, most people want it and most people can afford it. So do your research very well. Make sure it serves your purpose. Make sure you're not buy a property that you will need to spend too much money, except you have the money on. I've heard somebody say it is okay to buy a bad house in a good location than to buy a good house in a bad location. So make sure everything works for you. Just follow your own risk. Don't copy other people. If it is old builder you're rich, buy it. And if it is new build that your standard reach, go for it. At the end of the day, house na house, house na house, house is house. Okay,
Yes,
as long
so
as
as
your
long as it's functional for you, it's an
yeah, as long
individual
as
thing.
yes, yes. And there's so many countries like Canada now. People don't buy old houses. Depend on where you're staying, depend on what works in your area, and depend on what works for you as well. If I were to be single, I can even buy a house in the jungle, even if it's new. No, but no, I would drive to my work. But now, because I have children and family, I have to be considerate. So you have to
Yeah.
look at what works for your own individual pocket and individual life. Don't follow me. Don't follow Victoria. Follow your own heart and your pocket. And I wish you good luck.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. You have been so helpful with this topic, and we truly, truly appreciate you. Family, please make sure that you click the links in the description box below. I'll be linking Gloria's YouTube channel and Facebook page in the description box below. So there's another video we did about new build. So if you want to hear more information about that, please head over to our channel to watch that and leave some comments. And I've also got an ebook for you if you're trying to, get in on the process of getting your own house in the UK and you're just, overwhelmed, you don't know what next to do, how to go about things. Make sure that you grab the ebook in the description box below and also in the comment section. And with that, I say thank you so much for joining me today on this channel. Gloria, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience with us.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
No
It's been a
worries.
pleasure.
All right, guys, I'll see you in this other video showing on your screen. And don't forget to go over to Gloria's channel to watch the other half of this collaboration. Thank you so much, and I'll see you. Bye.